Hi guys, Nick from Repop Cycle here with Charlie. Just picked up these three Puchs yesterday. There's busted switches on all of them, so we're just gonna start with that since we make and sell the parts to fix the switches on Puch Maxis and Magnums. So without further ado, here's how to fix your Puch moped switch bases and the strap that retains them. It's pretty common to buy an old Maxi or Magnum and have switches that look like this. The back's busted off, maybe one of the posts is gone, or at least they're almost always at least just cracked. On this Maxi here, both sides are like this, destroyed, and the strap is gone. So while the top switch part's okay, cannot use this bottom part. So here's the other one. We sell the switch base in two different materials. One is a standard ASA. It's a little bit shinier, sleek. It's basically the same stuff as ABS, which is what Legos are made out of, but engineered to be UV and weather heat resistant, more so than ABS. So it's pretty good stuff. Then we also have glass fiber reinforced. A little bit of a rougher texture, but in a duller color. But in terms of the switches, usually it matches a little bit better comparatively. So I always, on my bikes, I always just put the glass fiber reinforced one on. They're a little stronger. And they're still just as weather resistant and everything. The color and the finish is really, aside from being stronger, the color and the finish is the only real difference there. Some people prefer the slick, non-textured, darker black. I think this one looks good for this application. But so the first step in this case is just going to be to remove the single screw. Nick from the future here, I did a pretty poor job on the first bike of actually showing the switch installation. My hand was just kind of in the way. But it is really straightforward. Remove this top screw. It's the only thing that holds it on. To the bottom, tape in this case too. So remove the top screw. These little rectangular holes receive these little pins, extrusions. So you slide it in from the side and then push down. And then you put the screw in on top. And this is, you can reuse the original screw. You don't have to buy the one we sell. Imagine me tightening this. So tighten down. We're looking good and flush. Looks pretty close to factory and it's stronger. Here's a better view of how destroyed this thing was. This tape's underneath it. So gonna loosen the two screws that hold this on from below. And I'll show, you can use the original melt strap. You don't have to buy the flexible one. But the flexible one is just better to use because it prevents, see how it broke in the middle here? It like pulled apart. That's because the metal strap is not bending nearly as much as plastic will. And over time, it's gonna pull it apart, either on the posts on the end, snap it like along the screws path, or ripping it apart in the middle here. And that's why I decided to make them out of a flexible material instead of reproducing them as like a stamped metal design. There we go. Goodbye. Now we're going to grab the flexible rubber strap, which is a much better idea than the metal ones because there's give in this, and something's got to flex to when you're clamping it down. And it winds up being putting like a sideways load on this post here, and that's why they all break. That's part of the reason. A little bit tight to start. That's normal, just because you're cutting the threads into the plastic. Can't really show starting both very well from this angle. You want to work little by little, like don't crank one side down then do the other. You want to try to keep them even. Do a couple turns on one and then a couple turns on the other. Just work back and forth. With this being flexible, it's not the end of the world if you crank it down all the way on one side first. Then towards the end there, you don't need to like crank them down until the strap is completely flush. You know, there can be a gap there, and then you see I'm moving the whole bars. This thing's not moving. Looking good. For brevity's sake, I will show you not a liar. The original screws and strap work. Helps be going straight though. Get it kind of close. I don't want to actually like start taking up attention before I put the other one in. You want to do little by little, side back and forth. Okay, they're both tight. That's not. Oh, there you go, a little bit more. The rubber strap does get it tighter to the bars too, but again, there we go. All right, let's not go anywhere. Here's a closer look of the final result using the original hardware, just the new base. Probably should take a picture to do a side by side because this thing was ugly before and it looked like that, you know. Same process to do the other side. Same exact process, just a slightly different shape. Make sure you slide into those little holes and then push down and screw, put the screw through. There we go. Now, even though there's no piston, cylinder, or head on this thing, you can use the switches. So, you know, that's one little thing that helps get moving on the rest of this bike. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully everything makes sense. It's pretty straightforward. This, even while we're just recording, which adds time, took 10 minutes to do both. Links for everything, the bases, the strap, the screws, are in the description below. Thanks and have a good day.